Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing 2 spreads in one video. I'm going to be doing my October favorites and my November favorites. I do have to say my October favorites did end up looking a little not so good. But I think my November one was okay. I feel like I'm in a journaling slump. So everything just isn't coming out how it looks in my head, but we're just pushing through it. Just like everybody else in the world, I watched Squid Game, and it deserved all the hype that it got. It was amazing, phenomenal. I couldn't stop watching. I cried. It was a chef's kiss. The cast, I'm obsessed with them. If you haven't watched Squid Game, please go watch it. It is kind of, I want to say Korean Hunger Games, but it's not really the Hunger Games. But you do have to do these competitions to survive, and yeah, so it made me anxious, but it was so good. Another new favorite show that I finished in October is The Last Kingdom. I do have to say that I have a lot of favorite shows, and some of them are just my favorites because of enjoyment. But I have a handful of shows that are just top tier level good no matter what, like Game of Thrones, Outlander, Money Heist. The Last Kingdom is now part of that list. This was a part of a deal I made with my mother where she watched Outer Banks with me, and I watched Last Kingdom with her. Again, Outer Banks, not a top tier level show, but for my enjoyment, it is one of my favorite shows. But Last Kingdom was all types of epic. I also watched Pride and Prejudice for the first time, which is crazy to me because I love period drama movies and shows. I'm kind of on a kick with period drama movies right now, and I'm pretty sure Pride and Prejudice started that for me. It was everything I've wanted and more. I can't believe it's taken me this long to watch this movie, and now I want to read the book. I feel like classics are the only exception that I have when reading a book before the movie. I'd rather watch the movie and then read the book when it comes to classics, but this was breathtakingly beautiful. Wow. Also, in October, I usually watch a horror movie a day every year. That's just what I do. I usually rewatching things or trying to find new favorite movies, perhaps. But I don't even know if I'm going to say the city name right, so sorry in advance for that. But the movie Train to Busan, I don't know, I'm so sorry. But the actor from the beginning of Squid Game is in that movie, and he's very, very much attractive. So I watched that movie, and it was a zombie type, apocalypse type movie. It was so intense and so good. I also cried, which was very unexpected for a zombie movie for me. It was amazing, and I recommend this movie so much if you like suspense thriller type movies. I also read and watched One of Us is Lying, which is that corner pick in the top right hand corner of Nate and Bronwyn, which is the only reason I continued to read the book. I wasn't a big fan of the book, and the show did them perfectly. Chef's kiss for them. As for what I read in October, I reread Six of Crows, which is why I included that picture I took next to the October title. And I started to reread the Addicted/Calloway Sisters series. I know you guys are probably sick of me talking about this series, but this picture behind me in my Halloween costume is a reference to the Core 6. And also, that's me in my Halloween costume. I was Chucky this year. Didn't really do anything, but I was Chucky. I feel like as of this moment, the page looks fine. It's kind of a little clustery. I was kind of trying something different, and I try to go for the same vibe in my November thread. I don't know how I feel. I'm probably gonna go back to what I was doing for December. I don't know what it was about this, but I wasn't feeling it. And then I start writing and it makes things worse. I don't know what happened. I want to talk about my favorite book that I read in October, which is Verity by Colleen Hoover. I want everybody and their mother to read this book. Colleen Hoover usually writes romances with some tragic stories that usually make me cry. This book was kind of a thriller, like you don't really know what to expect type of thing. And I do have to say, a lot of people say that they were too scared to sleep after reading this book. I didn't feel that, but nonetheless, the story and the plot was so good, and the ending did have me shook. And I don't want to say too much. Actually, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. You should just read the book. It is a wild, wild ride. And if you've read the book, please comment which team you're on. If you know, you know. I want to know what you believe. I also read a few spooky time books. Two were like spooky masked romances, which was Scream for us, and We Play. And I also read Home Before Dark by Riley Sager, which kind of gave me a Haunting of Hill House vibes, but I just didn't like the book that much. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion. It kind of put me in a reading slump, which sucked so much. But I also read White Smoke by Tiffany Jackson, which is marketed as Get Out meets Haunting of Hill House. And if you know me, Haunting of Hill House is one of my favorite shows, and Get Out is probably like my top favorite movie. So I think my expectations for it were just too high, and it was YA, so I feel like with that kind of thing, it should be just a horror book, not a YA book. But that's just me. I hyped it up too much just by that comparison, and it didn't hit home for me like I thought it would, but it was still a good book. See, I'm looking at it, and I absolutely hate what I'm looking at, but it's okay. And as you saw, I was listening to Dress by Taylor Swift on repeat. That is also the song that I have dedicated to Lily and Lo. And since I was rereading their books, I was just listening to it a lot. And now on to November. November, I saw Eternals, which is the new Marvel movie. I can't even tell you how obsessed I am with it. It was getting all these bad reviews, and I'm like, I don't know if we watched the same movie, but I was fully in love with it. Druig and Makari, new comfort ship. I'm in love with them. And then just having Richard Madden and Kit Harington from Game of Thrones join the MCU is everything I've wanted and more. I don't think you understand. When they announced this at Comic-Con in 2019, I almost cried. I was so excited. I also went to Harry Styles' Love on Tour for LA Night 2, and that's me in front of the forum in my outfit and my picture I took of Harry. And I also went to Disneyland with my friend Jen from Dear Written, and I have a selfie. I don't know where it went at the moment, but that gets thrown in there as well. And then we have Miss Taylor Swift's All Too Well short film, and just read Taylor's version in general. I was blown away by the short film with Sadie and Dylan. Cried My parents looked at me like I was insane crying over this music video, but it's fine, you don't understand. Oh, the power that Blondie has over me is unreal. And like I said earlier about when I was talking about Pride and Prejudice, I've been on a period film kick recently, so I watched Emma with Anya Taylor-Joy, who is one of my biggest girl crushes ever. And then I watched, oh, hold on, I gotta look up the title. It was long. It's called The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society, I think. It stars Lily James and the guy, I don't know his name, I'm so sorry. The guy from Haunting of Hill House, who is the older brother, and he was in Game of Thrones when he was with Dany and he's attractive. I don't know his name, but that was such a good movie. I've never seen anyone talk about it really. Highly recommend. I also found a new favorite comfort rom-com movie, and it's The Broken Hearts Gallery with Dacre Montgomery from Stranger Things. It was so stinking cute and funny and everything I need in a rom-com. I loved it so much. I highly recommend this movie if you are a rom-com lover like me, and it's also not a white girl main character, so that's always a plus. One of my favorite books of November was another Colleen Hoover book. I read November 9. On November 9th, I specifically waited for this day to happen, and I sobbed my eyes out. I loved this book so much. It does have insta-love, kind of, and that is a reading turn-off for me, I guess. But the way that Colleen Hoover did insta-love in this book is my only exception. It's, oh, no words, just thinking about Ben and Fallon. My other favorite book that I read is also now on my top favorite books ever, and that was Normal People by Sally Rooney. I read this one while house sitting, and I could not believe it when I was reading it. It's like Miss Sally Thorne took all the thoughts from my head and put it into these two characters, and it kind of just blew my mind about like how much I related to these two. I wasn't expecting it. Oh, this is a sticker that I made for my shop. Sorry to interrupt. But Normal People by Sally Rooney. And then I watched the adaptation, which was probably one of the best adaptations I've ever seen. It's up there with like The Hunger Games. Oh, it was the book to a T, and it was even better seeing the emotions on their faces when they were going through these things. I can't even believe it. I sobbed so much. And I'm already restarting the show, so let that speak for itself when it comes to my mental health at the moment. Apparently I like pain because I'm rewatching their story again, but I don't know. I just can't stop thinking about them. Anyways, here is how the spread is turning out. I am liking it better than my October one, but it still just doesn't give me happiness. Oh yeah, I'm about to write one of my new favorite quotes ever, and it's from Normal People, and I'm gonna write it at the bottom there, which in my head I thought was gonna work, but I ended up really just hating how my writing looked and how it looked on the page. But there's just nothing I can do about it. Hopefully December's favorites will be way more aesthetically pleasing, but I'm showing you the good and the bad here. And this is the sticker that I made for my Etsy shop to go with that quote that I love so much. Anyways, that is my favorites. Oh, I didn't put this in my favorites, but I am obsessed with Impractical Jokers. That's basically what I watched in November. I started it in November, and I'm already on season 6, so it's just been on my TV. But here's a little close-up of the November favorites. We didn't get this for October because I did not like it. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I have a lot more videos to be posting within the next few weeks, so I hope you guys are excited for that like I am. Drukari, love them. And thank you for watching. Bye.